Fang Yuan stood surrounded by enemies, his deep green robes torn to shreds, hair disheveled, and body covered in blood. Fresh blood flowed from his numerous wounds, forming a large pool beneath his feet as the mountain breeze stirred his tattered robes like a war flag. The major factions of justice encircled him, their warriors, both seasoned elders and young talents, roaring, sneering, or watching warily, some clutching their own wounds. They warned him to surrender the spring-autumn cicada or face a quick death, declaring that today all the major factions had united to destroy his devil lair and that his capture was inevitable. For 6 hours, the tense standoff continued until the evening sun cast fiery rays upon the mountain. Fang Yuan, pale from blood loss, slowly turned his body, prompting the warriors to step back cautiously. He looked toward the setting sun and laughed lightly, reciting a verse about the sun setting over the blue mountain and reflecting on his past life. Once a Chinese scholar who had lived over 5 centuries in this world, Fang Yuan recalled his hardships and failures without regret. Having prepared for this end from the start, he acknowledged that being a demon meant being merciless and that he must face the consequences of his actions. He hoped that if the spring-autumn cicada he had cultivated was effective, he would remain a demon in his next life. As the warriors surged forward, Fang Yuan was suddenly engulfed in a blinding surge of energy. Late at night, spring rain quietly fell on Qingmao Mountain, accompanied by a slight breeze. Despite the darkness, dozens of tiny lights shone from tall buildings along the mountain, marking the presence of Guyu Village. At its center stood a magnificent pavilion where a grand ceremony was underway, the lights inside glowing with even greater brilliance. The middle-aged head of the Guyu clan, dressed in white ceremonial robes and with graying sideburns, knelt on the brownish-yellow floor before a tall black case housing 3 layers of ancestral memorial tablets. He prayed earnestly for the clan to be blessed with young men of outstanding talent and intelligence to bring new hope to their families. Behind him, over 10 elders and important clan members, also clad in loose white garments, knelt in solemn prayer. After the prayers, the clan head kowtowed deeply, followed by the others, filling the hall with the sound of heads striking the floor. When the ceremony concluded, the group rose and silently exited the sacred temple. In the hallway, the elders sighed in relief and began to discuss the passing year and the upcoming annual grand ceremony. They expressed hopes that talented youths would emerge, noting that the Guyu clan had not seen a genius in 3 years. The conversation turned to other villages like Bai and Xiong, which had produced promising talents such as Bai Ningbing from the Bai clan, whose rapid progress to level 3 Gu Master in 2 years had caused concern among the elders. Despite the pressure from such rivals, the elders acknowledged that hope remained for this year's participants. They mentioned a young prodigy from Fang Ji's side who had begun speaking at 3 months, walking at 4, and reciting poetry by age 5. Though his parents had died early, he was now being raised by his uncle and aunt and showed exceptional intelligence and talent. The Guyu clan head was the last to leave the ancestral temple. After slowly closing the door behind him, he overheard the clan elders discussing the youth known as Guyu Fang Yuan. As the clan head, he naturally paid close attention to outstanding juniors, and Fang Yuan was the most remarkable among them. He reflected on past experience showing that children with photographic memory, adult-level strength, or other great innate talents possessed exceptional cultivation potential. If Fang Yuan demonstrated A-grade potential, with proper care he could even rival Bai Ningbing. Even B-grade potential would make him a future banner of the Guyu clan. Given Fang Yuan's early intelligence, A-grade seemed highly likely. The clan head smiled slowly at this thought. Clearing his throat, he addressed the elders, urging them to rest well for the opening ceremony the next day to ensure sufficient energy. Though his words seemed casual, the elders understood the underlying warning. Every year, competition for young geniuses led to fierce disputes among them. They needed to be well prepared for tomorrow's contest, especially with Fang Yuan's immense A-grade potential. Considering his deceased parents and status as one of only 2 remaining descendants of Fang Ji's bloodline, securing Fang Yuan's allegiance promised a century of prosperity. The clan head then gave a strict reminder. The competition must be fair, without tricks, conspiracies, or damage to clan unity. The elders assured him they would abide by this. After bidding them good night, the elders dispersed with heavy thoughts. The corridor soon fell silent. The clan head walked to a window on the 3rd floor of the garret and breathed in the fresh mountain air. From there, he saw half of Guyu village, where most homes still had lights on late at night, an unusual sight. Tomorrow's opening ceremony weighed heavily on everyone's minds, creating an atmosphere of excitement and tension. The clan head sighed, calling this the hope for the clan's future. At that moment, a pair of clear eyes quietly observed the same sparkling lights from another window. Fong Yuan stood there, rain blowing against his body, contemplating the scene. He whispered that this was Guyu village 500 years ago and that the spring-autumn cicada had truly worked. The spring-autumn cicada was ranked 7th among the 10 big mystical gu, a creature capable of reversing time, essentially granting rebirth. Fong Yuan stretched out his young, pale palms, slowly clenching them as he embraced the reality of his rebirth. The soft sound of rain tapping the window filled his ears as he closed his eyes, then opened them with a sigh, remarking that 500 years of experience felt like a dream. Yet he knew this was no dream. Legends spoke of a river of time governing the world's flow, and the spring-autumn cicada's power allowed travel upstream to the past. Many doubted the tale, but few dared believe it. Using the cicada demanded a life's price, one's body and cultivation fueling its power, with uncertain outcomes. Most owners hesitated to use it, fearing it was a scam. Fong Yuan had been cornered into using it hastily, but now he was convinced. He had truly been reborn. He regretted the immense effort wasted in his previous life, killing hundreds of thousands, angering the heavens, enduring hardships to refine a powerful gu, only to lose the spring-autumn cicada in the process. Humans were the greatest among creatures, but gu represented the essence of heaven and earth. Gu came in countless mysterious forms. Some dissipated after a few uses, others could be reused indefinitely if not overexploited. The spring-autumn cicada likely belonged to the former category, usable only once before disappearing. Despite this loss, Fong Yuan resolved to refine another. He had succeeded in his previous life and saw no reason he couldn't do so again. Being reborn made losing the spring-autumn cicada acceptable, especially since he retained a precious treasure, 500 years of memories and experience. His memories contained countless treasures and precious items yet unopened in this era, along with knowledge of major historical events and figures, some hidden masters, some unborn geniuses. His memories also included painstaking cultivation and rich combat experience. With these memories and experience, Fong Yuan grasped the overall situation and upcoming opportunities. Through careful planning and execution, he could take a decisive lead, breaking through higher boundaries with fierce elegance. Fong Yuan stood by the window, gathering his thoughts as the night rain fell outside. He considered the challenges ahead, realizing that 500 years was a long time, but recalling the locations of hidden treasures and special encounters scattered across great distances and accessible only at certain times complicated matters. The main issue, he concluded, was cultivation. He had not yet opened his primeval sea or begun the path to becoming a gu master. He was still a mortal who needed to cultivate quickly to seize opportunities. He recognized that many hidden treasures were useless without a proper foundation, and that seeking them prematurely would be akin to walking into a trap. His immediate priority was to raise his cultivation level as fast as possible. If he proceeded slowly as in his previous life, he would be too late. To cultivate rapidly, he decided to borrow resources from the clan since, in his current state, he lacked the power to travel safely through the dangerous mountains. Even a mountain boar could kill him. Reaching the level of a third-level gu master would grant him the means to protect himself and leave the mountain. From the perspective of someone who had cultivated for 500 years on the demonic path, Qingmao Mountain was too small, and Guyu village felt like a cage. Yet, while the cage restricted freedom, its sturdy bars also provided safety. Fong Yuan resolved to remain within this cage until he reached the third-level gu master, at which point he could leave the mountain. Fortunately, The awakening ceremony was scheduled for the next day, allowing him to begin Gu master training soon. As he thought about the awakening ceremony, long-buried memories resurfaced. Talent had always been a contentious subject for him. At that moment, the door to his room opened quietly, and a young teenager entered. The youth, thin and slightly shorter than Fang Yuan, resembled him greatly. Fang Yuan recognized him as his twin younger brother and regarded him with a cold, indifferent expression. Fang Zhang lowered his head and looked at his toes, a habitual stance. Fang Zhang explained that he had come to close the window since it was open and noted that it was late and Fang Yuan had yet to sleep before the awakening ceremony. He worried their aunt and uncle would be concerned. Fang Zhang was accustomed to his brother's coldness, having experienced it since childhood. Despite sharing the same appearance, he felt ordinary compared to his older brother's shining talent. He wondered why fate was so unfair. His brother was gifted, while he was as ordinary as a stone. Everyone identified him as Fang Yuan's younger brother, and his aunt and uncle constantly urged him to learn from Fang Yuan. Even his own reflection sometimes disgusted him. These feelings had accumulated over the years, causing Fang Zhang to grow quieter and more withdrawn. Fang Yuan laughed silently at the thought of their aunt and uncle's concern. He recalled how their parents had died on a clan mission when they were only 3 years old, leaving them orphans. Their aunt and uncle had seized their inheritance and treated the brothers harshly. Fang Yuan had initially planned to conceal his abilities and live a normal life, but hardship forced him to reveal some talents. His talent was a mature intellect carrying knowledge of Earth's ancient poems, which startled others and drew attention. To protect himself, he adopted a cold, indifferent demeanor that became habitual. This change eased the aunt and uncle's harshness. Over time, as the brothers grew older, their treatment improved, but it was an investment rather than love. Fang Yuan found it ironic that his younger brother never saw the truth and buried his resentments. When Fang Zhang was discovered to have a great talent, the clan invested heavily in him. This reversal unleashed his buried jealousy and hate, leading him to suppress and make life difficult for Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's own talent was only C-grade. Fate had played a cruel joke. The older twin, regarded as a genius, had lower talent, while the overlooked younger twin possessed true A-grade talent. The awakening ceremony results shocked the clan, reversing their treatment of the brothers. Fang Zhang rose like a dragon to the heavens. Fang Yuan fell like a phoenix to the earth. Following this came hardships from his younger brother, cold eyes from their aunt and uncle, and contempt from the clan. Fang Yuan had hated these things in his previous life. His lack of talent, the clan's heartlessness, fate's unfairness. But now, with 500 years of experience, he viewed these events calmly, without hatred. He understood that resentment gained nothing. From another perspective, he could comprehend his brother, aunt and uncle, and even the enemies who would attack him centuries later. The strong consumed the weak. Survival of the fittest was the world's rule. Everyone struggled for their ambitions and opportunities. Amid war and killing, nothing was truly incomprehensible. 5 centuries of life had taught him this, and his heart now sought immortality. Anyone who tried to obstruct this pursuit, no matter who, would be killed. His aspirations were immense. Choosing this path meant making the world his enemy, destined to be alone and to kill. This was the conclusion forged by 500 years of living. Fang Yuan declared that revenge was not his intention and that the demonic path did not compromise. He laughed softly and gave his younger brother a faint glance before telling him he could leave. Fang Zhang felt his brother's eyes pierce him like an ice blade, as if they could see into the deepest parts of his heart. Under such a gaze, he felt exposed and unable to hide any secrets. Without daring to say more, Fang Zhang slowly closed the door and left. Outside, the night watchman rhythmically banged his wooden clappers. The sound echoed through the tall pillar houses as Fang Yuan opened his dry eyelids and silently noted that it was already the hour before dawn. He had spent much of the previous night lying awake, formulating many plans. Having only slept a little over 2 hours, His body and mind still felt exhausted since his cultivation had not yet begun and his energy was not vigorous. But after 5 centuries of life, Fang Yuan's determination was steel-like. Sleep deprivation was nothing to him. He pushed away the thin silk blanket and rose neatly, opening the window to find the spring rain had stopped. The fragrance of earth, trees, and wildflowers greeted him, clearing his head and washing away sleepiness. The sky was a deep dark blue, neither dark nor bright, as the sun had yet to rise. Around him, tall houses made of green bamboo and wood contrasted with the mountain, forming a sea of pale green. The houses had at least 2 floors, a unique mountain folk structure. Massive wooden stakes formed the first floor, while the second floor was where people lived. Fang Yuan and Fang Zheng stayed on the second floor. A maiden's voice floated up from downstairs, announcing that she would wait upstairs while Fang Yuan washed up. Looking down, Fang Yuan saw his personal servant, Shen Chui. Though only slightly above average in looks, she dressed well in a green robe with long sleeves and trousers, embroidered shoes, and a pearl hairpin in her black hair, radiating youthful vitality. Shen Chui carried a basin of warm water and climbed the stairs. Fang Yuan rinsed his mouth and used a willow twig with snow salt to clean his teeth. Shen Chui waited gently, smiling with lively eyes. Fang Yuan's expression remained calm and indifferent. He regarded Shen Chui as nothing more than his aunt and uncle's spy, a vain and heartless girl. In his previous life, she had captivated him. But after the awakening ceremony, when his status plummeted, she turned away from him with disdainful looks. When Fang Zheng arrived, he saw Shen Chui smoothing the creases on Fang Yuan's clothing. A flicker of jealousy crossed his eyes. Though Fang Zheng also had a servant, it was a fat, white-old woman, not a youthful girl like Shen Chui. He wondered when Shen Chui might wait on him like that, but dared not speak. The household's biased love for Fang Yuan was no secret. Originally, Fang Zheng had no servant, but Fang Yuan had requested one for him. Despite the master-servant status difference, Fang Zheng did not dare underestimate Shen Chui because her mother, Matron Shen, was the trusted caretaker of the entire household, wielding considerable authority. Fang Yuan brusquely dismissed Shen Chui's attempts to tidy his clothing, recognizing her efforts as seduction. To Shen Chui, Fang Yuan's potential as an A-grade talent meant that becoming his concubine could elevate her from servant to master, a significant step. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had been deceived and infatuated with her. But after rebirth, his heart was cold and clear. He told Shen Chui she could leave without looking at her as he adjusted his sleeve cuffs. Shen Chui pouted, sensing Fang Yuan's odd and cold behavior today, and after hesitating, she obediently retreated. Fang Yuan asked Fang Zheng if he was ready. The younger brother stood at the doorway, head bowed, muttering a light yes. Fang Zheng had been awake since the 4th watch, too nervous to sleep, and had prepared quietly, his eyes bearing dark circles. Fang Yuan nodded, understanding Fang Zheng's thoughts clearly this time. He said lightly, "Then let's go." The 2 brothers left the house and encountered many youths of similar age, grouped in 2s and 3s, clearly heading to the same destination. They overheard cautious whispers identifying the pair as the Fang brothers, with Fang Yuan recognized as the author of the poems. Some spoke enviously of Fang Yuan's expressionless face, matching the rumors. Others retorted coldly, hiding dissatisfaction. Fang Zheng listened without expression, accustomed to such talk, keeping his head low and following quietly. As dawn's light peeked over the horizon, casting shadows over Fang Yuan's face, the sun rose gradually. Yet Fang Yuan suddenly felt as if he were walking into darkness emanating from his older brother. Perhaps in this life, Fang Zheng would never escape the imprisoning shadow of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan thought with a sneer that the gossip exemplified the saying, "Those of outstanding talent easily bring jealousy from others." No wonder that when it was announced he had C-grade talent, he was surrounded by enemies and endured disdain and coldness for a long time. Behind him, Fang Zheng's breathing grew heavy as he tried to stop listening. What Fong Yuan had failed to perceive in his previous life, he now sensed with the finest detail, an insight born of 5 centuries of experience. Fong Yuan suddenly recalled his aunt and uncle's scheming nature. They had given him Shen Chui to monitor him and assigned his younger brother an old wet nurse, along with other differences in their treatment. All these actions had clear intentions, to sow unhappiness in his younger brother's heart and create a rift between the siblings. He reflected that people do not worry about receiving less, but about whether what they receive is fairly distributed. In his previous life, his limited experience and his younger brother's naivety allowed his aunt and uncle to successfully drive a wedge between them. Now, after being reborn with the awakening ceremony approaching, the situation seemed difficult to change. However, Fong Yuan believed that with his cunning and wisdom, the situation could be altered. He could completely suppress his younger brother, turn Shen Chui into a concubine early on, and had hundreds of ways to deal with his aunt, uncle, and clan elders. Yet, Fong Yuan sighed carefreely, admitting he did not feel like doing any of that. To him, his younger brother, without blood ties, was just an outsider he could discard any time. Shen Chui, regardless of her beauty, was merely flesh without love or loyalty and unworthy of becoming a concubine. His aunt, uncle, and clan elders were just passers-by in life, not worth his effort or energy. He decided that as long as they did not obstruct him, they could step aside and leave. He had no need to care about them. The sun rose brilliantly, its rays piercing the thin mountain fog. Over 115-year-old youths gathered in front of the clan pavilion, located in the village center. The pavilion was a 5-story building with sharp tilted roofs, heavily guarded, and housed the shrine of the Gu Yu ancestor memorial tablets. Every generation of clan head had lived there, and it served as the authority center for major ceremonies and meetings. The academy elder, a spirited man with white beard and hair, addressed the youths, praising their punctuality and announcing that today was the awakening ceremony, a great turning point in their lives. Without further words, he led them into the pavilion. Instead of ascending, the group descended through the great hall entrance, following a stone staircase into an underground cave. The youths expressed surprise and amazement at the sparkling stalactites emitting rainbow colors that illuminated their faces with neon hues. Among the crowd, Fong Yuan quietly observed, recalling that centuries ago the Gu Yu clan had migrated from the central lands to Qingmao Mountain. They had settled after discovering a spirit spring in this underground cave, which produced numerous primeval stones, forming the foundation of the Gu Yu village. After walking several hundred steps, the light dimmed and the faint sound of water grew audible. Turning a corner, they arrived at a 30-foot-wide underground river. The colorful stalactite lights had vanished, but the river emitted a faint blue glow, resembling a starry river in the night sky. The crystal-clear water revealed fish, aquatic plants, and sand beneath. Opposite the river stretched a sea of moon orchids, cultivated closely by the Gu Yu clan. The blue and pink petals shaped like crescent moons rested on jade-like stems, with centers shining warmly like pearls under light. Against the dark background, the flower sea resembled a vast bluish-green carpet dotted with countless pearls. Fong Yuan recognized the moon orchid as a primary food source for many Gu and the clan's largest cultivation medium. The youths marveled at the sight, their eyes shining with excitement and anticipation. The elder instructed them to listen as he called their names. Those called must walk through the river to the opposite bank, with the distance walked indicating their talent. The youths affirmed their understanding, having heard from family and seniors that the further one walked, the better their talent and brighter their future. The elder called the first name Gu Yu Chunbo. The wide but shallow river reached his knees as he stepped into the flower sea. He felt an invisible pressure like a wall blocking his path. At his feet, the flowers emitted a weak white light that gathered around him and entered his body, briefly easing the pressure. Chunbo gritted his teeth and forced himself forward, but after 3 steps, the invisible wall hardened again, preventing further progress. The elder sighed as he recorded the result, stating Chunbo had taken 3 steps and lacked talent to become a Gu master. The next name was Gu Yu Zeosia. Chun Bo returned to the group pale and clenching his teeth, his hopes crushed. Many youths pitied him, while others fixed their attention on the next participant. The second youth managed only 4 steps, also lacking talent. Not everyone possessed natural talent to become a Gu master. Typically, 5 out of 10 people had talent, but in the Guyu clan, the ratio was higher, 6 out of 10, due to the powerful genes inherited from their legendary ancestor, the first clan leader. After 2 failures, the observing elders in the shadows frowned, including the clan head. The academy elder then called the third name, Guyu Mobe. A tall, sturdy youth with a horse-like face and a brave aura stepped forward. He crossed the river in a few steps, reaching the opposite bank. Small lights entered his body with each step, and he continued until he reached 36 steps before stopping. The youths at the riverbank watched with wide eyes, shocked. The academy elder happily declared that Guyu Mobe was a B-grade talent and called him over to examine his primeval sea. Guyu Mobe returned to the elder's side, who placed a hand on the youth's shoulder, closed his eyes to focus, then retracted his hand and nodded, recording that Guyu Mobe's primeval sea measured 6 by 6 and could be vigorously trained. The academy elder explained that talent was divided into 4 grades from A to D. A D-grade youth, after 3 years of nurturing, could become a rank 1 senior Gu master, forming the family's foundation. A C-grade youth, after 2 years, usually became a rank 2 senior Gu master, the clan's backbone. B-grade talents required special care and often became future clan elders, reaching rank 3 Gu masters after 6 to 7 years of training. An A-grade talent, even if only one appeared, brought great fortune to the clan and could become a rank 4 Gu master in about 10 years, competing for the clan head position. Thus, if Guyu Mobe reached his full potential, he would become one of the elders of the Guyu clan. The academy elder smiled happily. The observing elders in the shadows sighed in relief, then turned to look at one elder with jealousy. This elder was horse-faced, Guyu Mo-chan, Guyu Mobe's grandfather, who smiled and provocatively asked his old nemesis, Guyu Chi-lien, what he thought of his grandson. Guyu Chi-lien, with a head of red hair, harumphed in annoyance and did not reply, his face livid. An hour later, half the youths had crossed the Flower Sea. Many were C and D grade talents, while half showed no talent at all. The 4th generation clan head, the only rank 5 master, had perished alongside the flower wine monk without leaving descendants, causing the clan's later generation talents to weaken. At that moment, the academy elder called out, Guyu Chi-chan. All elders turned to Guyu Chi-lien's grandson, a small, short youth with a pockmarked face, clenching his fists and sweating nervously. He crossed the river, small lights entering his body with each step, stopping after 36 steps. The academy elder announced another B-grade talent. The youths murmured enviously, casting glances at Guyu Chi-chan. Guyu Chi-lien proudly shouted about the 36 steps, staring at Guyu Mobe, causing Guyu Mo-chan to scowl. Amid the crowd, Fang Yuan stroked his chin thoughtfully. He recalled that the clan had heavily punished Guyu Chi-chun for cheating during the awakening ceremony. Although Chi-chun only had C-grade talent, his grandfather Guyu Chi-lien had helped fake the results to make him appear B-grade. Fang Yuan knew many ways to cheat, some more perfect, but he had just been reborn and lacked preparation. Even if he cheated, he could not fake his cultivation speed without being exposed. Guyu Chi-lien's powerful influence had allowed Chi-chun to conceal the truth temporarily. Fang Yuan noted that Guyu Chi-lien and Guyu Mo-chan were the clan's 2 most influential elders, locked in hostility. To suppress his rival, Chi-lien needed his grandson to have outstanding talent, which explained the cover-up. Fang Yuan remembered that, if not for the cheating incident, the truth might never have been exposed. His eyes gleamed as he contemplated using this knowledge to his advantage. Exposing the matter immediately would earn some clan reward but would offend the powerful Guyu Chi-lien, an unwise move. He could not blackmail them quickly either, as his low status would backfire. As he pondered, the academy elder called his name, Guyu Fang Yuan. Silence fell, all eyes turning to him. Fong Yuan smiled inwardly at the excitement and walked across the river, feeling pressure from the spirit spring beneath the flower sea. The spirit spring produced primeval chi so rich it created a weight pressing on him. From the flowers below his feet, small lights rose and enveloped his body before entering him. Fong Yuan recognized these as Hope Gu, though the person in charge had not explained. He knew the legend well. Each light represented a Hope Gu. The ancient legend told of the Hope Gu. When the world was new and savage, the first man, Renzu, wandered among wild beasts called predicament who desired to eat him. Without strong teeth or claws, Renzu struggled to survive and was at nature's bottom. 3 Gu approached Renzu, offering help in exchange for his life. With no choice, Renzu agreed. He first gave his youth to the largest Gu, which granted him strength. With this strength, Renzu gained food and protection, defeating many predicaments. But he soon realized strength alone was insufficient, especially against entire groups. Renzu then gave his prime middle years to the most beautiful Gu, which granted him wisdom. With wisdom, Renzu learned to think and reflect, accumulating experience. He found wisdom often surpassed strength in effectiveness. By combining wisdom and strength, he conquered goals previously unreachable and killed many predicaments. Renzu survived by eating the meat and drinking the blood of predicaments, showing great tenacity. However, time caught up with him. He grew old because he had given away his youth and middle years to maintain the strength and wisdom Gu. As age advanced, his muscles deteriorated and his mind slowed. The strength and wisdom Gu realized he had nothing left to offer and abandoned him. Without them, Renzu found himself surrounded by predicaments, unable to run, with teeth fallen out, unable to chew wild fruits or plants. As he weakly collapsed to the ground, desperation filled his heart. At that moment, the 3rd Gu spoke to him, offering help to escape the predicaments if he accepted it. Renzu tearfully explained that he had nothing left to give. The strength and wisdom Gu had left him, and only old age remained. Though giving his old age would end his life immediately, he wished to live a little longer, even if just a second more, and urged the Gu to leave. The Gu replied that it had the smallest needs among the 3 and only required Renzu's heart. Renzu agreed to give his heart but questioned what the Gu could offer in return, doubting any change given his situation and the absence of the other 2 Gu. Compared to the strength Gu, this Gu appeared frail, a tiny ball of dim white light lacking beauty. Yet when Renzu gave his heart, the Gu suddenly emitted endless light. The predicaments screamed in horror, calling it the Hope Gu and retreating swiftly, for they feared hope above all else. From that day on, whenever Renzu faced a predicament, he gave his heart to hope. Meanwhile, the Hope Gu converged into a stream of light and entered Fong Yuan's body, quickly gathering 3 inches below his navel due to external pressure. Fong Yuan felt the pressure lessen and began to walk forward. With each step, more Hope Gu flew from the sea of flowers into his body, joining the growing ball of light. Yet the person in charge across the river frowned. Many elders watching from the darkness thought the number of Hope Gu was less than expected. The clan head also frowned, recognizing this was not the sign of an A-grade talent. Fong Yuan endured the pressure and continued walking forward, mentally counting each step. Below 10 steps indicated no cultivation talent. 10 to 20 steps, D grade. 20 to 30, C grade. 30 to 40, B grade. And 40 to 50, A grade. At 23 steps, he was still within the C grade range. Outsiders could not see this burst of energy, but Fong Yuan felt an earth-shaking reaction. His fine hairs stood on end, pores shut tight, and his mind stretched to its limit before going blank. His body softened as if floating on clouds, then relaxed as his pores reopened and the fine hairs flattened. Soon after, he began to perspire. Though the process felt long, it happened quickly. When Fong Yuan regained his senses, he found an aperture had formed out of thin air below his navel, between his kidneys. The awakening ceremony had succeeded. This was the hope of immortality. The aperture was mysterious and unusual. Though inside Fong Yuan's body, it did not share space with his internal organs. It was both infinitely large and infinitely small. Some called it the Purple Prefecture, others the Chinese Pool, but most knew it as the Primeval Sea Aperture. The spherical body was coated with a thin layer of flowing white light from the Hope Gu's explosion, supporting the aperture and preventing collapse. Inside the aperture lay the primeval sea, its surface smooth like a mirror with a greenish-blue hue and a dense copper luster. Only rank 1 Gu masters could form this green coppery primeval essence, known as the green copper sea. The sea surface reached 44% of the aperture's height, marking the limitation of a sea-grade talent. Each drop of seawater represented pure primeval essence, the condensation of Fang Yuan's essence, vitality, and soul, the accumulation of his life potential over 15 years. Primeval essence was used by Gu masters to raise Gu, signifying Fang Yuan's formal entry onto the path of a rank 1 Gu master. Since the aperture opened, no more Hope Gu entered his body. Fang Yuan gathered himself but felt the pressure ahead like a thick wall, unable to take another step forward. He smiled indifferently, recalling his previous life's experience. The academy elder shouted across the river, holding onto a thread of hope, asking if Fang Yuan could not go further. Fang Yuan turned and walked back, answering with his actions. Young teenagers in the crowd began reacting, and chatter erupted. They questioned how Fang Yuan, regarded as a genius, could be only a C-grade talent after walking 27 steps. The disturbance grew louder. Among them, Gu Yu Fangzhang looked on in shock as Fang Yuan returned. He could not believe his own brother was only C-grade. Many, including their aunt, uncle, and clan members, had expected Fang Yuan to be an A-grade talent. The Gu Yu clan head clenched his fists, expressing disappointment at the result. Elders watching from the darkness showed mixed reactions. Some frowned, others whispered among themselves, and some sighed. They questioned whether the results could be wrong, but acknowledged the method's extreme accuracy and the constant observation made cheating nearly impossible. They debated how to explain Fang Yuan's previous actions and intelligence. They recognized that youths with higher quality primeval sea often displayed superior intelligence, perception, memory, strength, and agility, but these traits did not guarantee high primeval talent. Ultimately, the results determined the truth. One elder sighed, remarking that the greater the hopes, the greater the disappointment, and lamented that the current Gu Yu clan generation was no longer like the first. Fang Yuan's socks were soaked from the icy river water, the cold seeping into his bones as he walked toward the crowd with an emotionless expression. He noticed the academy elder's heavy gaze and the stares of over 100 youths. Their looks a mixture of amazement, shock, gloating, indifference. The scene reminded Fang Yuan of his previous life, when he had crossed the cold river, lost his footing, and fallen into the water, feeling abandoned and lost as no one helped him. The disappointed and cold expressions of others had pierced his heart then, but now, facing the same situation, his heart remained calm. He recalled the legend, "When predicaments come, give your heart to hope." That hope, though small, resided within him, unlike those without any primeval talent. He resolved that others' disappointment was irrelevant. What mattered was the hope within. The academy elder sighed deeply and called out, "Next, Gu Yu Fangzhang," but no response followed. After a second call, Fangzhang snapped out of his shock and hurried forward, only to trip and fall into the river with a groan, eliciting laughter from the crowd. The Gu Yu clan head scoffed, dismissing the Fang brothers as nothing special and expressing annoyance at the embarrassment. Struggling in the slippery riverbed, Fang Zhang tried to get up but only appeared more clumsy as laughter rang around him. Suddenly, Fang Yuan grasped his collar and pulled him up. Fang Zhang started to speak but choked on water, coughing violently. Laughter continued from the riverbank while the academy elder frowned in disappointment but did not intervene. Fang Yuan told his younger brother to continue, saying the road to the future would be interesting. Fang Zhang, surprised by Fang Yuan's calm demeanor and faint smile, wondered how his brother could remain so composed despite being only a C-grade talent. Fang Yuan patted Fang Zhang on the back and walked away, leaving Fang Zhang stupefied as he moved toward the flower sea. Unaware, Fang Zhang reached a distance no one else had before, 43 steps into the Flower Sea. The Academy Elder screamed in disbelief, declaring Fang Zhang an A-grade talent, the first in 3 years. Clan elders in the shadows also shouted in excitement. Guyu Qilian immediately claimed Fang Zhang for the Qi family, citing the Fang bloodline's origin. But Guyu Mo-chan contested, demanding to raise the child himself. The clan head, Guyu Bo, ended the dispute with a fiery gaze, declaring no one was more qualified than him to raise Fang Zhang and warning that objections were against him. A week later, in the village academy, the academy elder stood before 57 attentive students, confidently explaining the nature of Gu masters. He described how humans, as the essence of heaven and earth, had uncovered the mysteries of the Gu, creatures living everywhere, and how those who opened their aperture to feed, refine, and manipulate Gu became Gu masters. He reminded them that they had all opened their apertures during the awakening ceremony 7 days prior and were now rank 1 Gu masters. A young teen raised his hand to ask for clarification on the ranks of Gu masters. The elder explained that there were 9 ranks, from rank 1 to rank 9, each divided into 4 stages: initial, middle, upper, and peak. All present were rank 1 initial stage. With cultivation, they could advance through the ranks, with higher talent increasing the chances of promotion. He detailed that D-grade talent corresponded to a primeval sea occupying about 2 to 3 layers of the aperture, allowing promotion up to rank 2. C-grade talent involved 4 to 5 layers, usually enabling progress to rank 2, and occasionally to rank 3 initial stage with luck. B-grade talents possessed a primeval sea occupying 6 to 7 layers of the aperture, allowing cultivation up to rank 3, and potentially reaching rank 4. A-grade talents had a primeval sea filling 8 to 9 layers, marking them as the most gifted and suited for Gu Master's cultivation, capable of attaining rank 5. The Academy Elder explained that rank 6 and above Gu Masters were legendary, with no clear specifics known. The Guyu clan had never produced a rank 6 Gu Master, but had seen rank 4 and rank 5 Masters before. The teenagers listened intently, their eyes brightening. Many glanced at Guyu Fang Zhang, seated rigidly in the first row, an A-grade talent who drew envy and jealousy. Others stared at the corner of the classroom where Guyu Fang Yuan leaned against the window, sleeping soundly on his desk. Whispers spread among the students. Fang Yuan had been sleeping continuously for a week without waking. Rumors circulated that he wandered the village edges at night, holding a wine jar and drinking heavily. Fortunately, the village surroundings had been cleared recently, making it safer. The students gossiped about his fall from grace, from being hailed as a genius for years to ending as a C-grade talent. They noted how his younger brother, an A-grade talent, was now the center of attention and receiving the best treatment, while Fang Yuan had fallen. The Academy Elder frowned as the students' chatter grew louder. Everyone else sat respectfully and attentively, making Fang Yuan's lethargy stand out painfully. The elder thought he had been mistaken about Fang Yuan's potential and regretted the wasted effort. Despite repeated admonitions, Fang Yuan continued to sleep through classes, frustrating his teachers. The elder concluded that Fang Yuan's temperament made him unworthy of further investment, especially compared to his talented younger brother Fang Zhang. While the elder reflected on this, he answered a question about the clan's history. He recounted 2 rank 5 masters, the first-generation clan head who founded Guyu village, and the 4th clan head, a remarkable cultivator who might have reached rank 6 if not for a treacherous attack by the demon flower wine monk. The elder sighed deeply as the youths below the platform erupted in outrage. They cursed the flower wine monk's sinister cunning and lamented the 4th clan leader's early death, wishing they had lived centuries earlier to confront the demon themselves. The story of the 4th clan head and the flower wine monk was well known. The flower wine monk, a rank 5 Gu master infamous among demons as a notorious flower thief, had attempted crimes in Guyu village centuries ago. The 4th clan leader confronted him, and after a fierce battle, the monk begged for mercy. The clan leader's mercy was betrayed by a sneak attack from the monk, who inflicted severe wounds. Enraged, the clan leader killed the monk but succumbed to his own injuries shortly after. The fourth clan head was revered as a hero who sacrificed his life for the village. Awakened by the classroom noise, Fong Yuan opened his eyes and stretched, thinking resentfully about the flower wine monk. He wondered where the monk had died and why he had never found any legacy of his after searching the village. Fong Yuan recalled a story about a gu master from the clan who, heartbroken, drank heavily and lay drunk outside the village. The strong aroma attracted a rare and precious gu called the liquor worm. The gu master pursued the worm, discovering an underground entrance and a secret cave containing the flower wine monk's bones and inheritance. This discovery had caused a stir in the clan, boosting the gu master's cultivation and reputation. Fong Yuan admitted he only knew fragments of the story and did not know the exact location of the cave. He had been buying wine and wandering the village at night, hoping the liquor aroma would attract the liquor worm, but so far without success. He sighed, gazing out the window, wishing to find the liquor worm and refine it into his vital gu to surpass the clan's moonlight gu. Time was running short as April approached. Outside, under a blue sky with white clouds, verdant mountains stretched into the distance near a bamboo grove filled with Qingmao Mountain's unique spear bamboo, each stalk straight and tipped sharply, like a spear. Nearby, the woods were turning green with tender shoots of yellow-green, while colorful sparrows perched on branches. The spring breeze carried the freshness of the mountains and rivers, dispersing it into the world. The class was nearly over when the academy elder informed the students that they had learned how to contemplate and check their own aperture's primeval sea, meditate and shift the primeval essence inside their bodies. Now it was time to refine their vital gu. After class, each student would go to the academy's gu room to select a gu worm. Once chosen, they were to return home and focus on refining it. Only after successfully refining their gu could they come back to continue classes. The elder announced that this was their first assessment, and whoever finished first would receive a reward of 20 primeval stones. The gu room, located beside the academy, was a modest space of about 60 square meters. For a gu master, the gu was essential to strength. As class ended, the excited teenagers rushed toward the gu room, but guards outside ordered them to form a line and enter one by one. Each youth entered and exited before it was Fong Yuan's turn. Inside the mysterious room, the four walls were lined with square holes of varying sizes, each containing containers such as gray stone basins, verdant jade dishes, grass cages, and earthen stoves. These held various gu, some silent, others producing chirps, clucks, and rustling sounds that combined into a lively symphony. Fong Yuan noted that all the gu in the room were rank 1, matching the rank of novice gu masters who typically used only rank 1 gu due to the heavy cost and danger of higher-level gu. Newcomers usually selected a rank 1 gu worm as their first vital gu, which would become intertwined with their lives. If it died, the gu master would suffer greatly. Fong Yuan inwardly sighed, wishing to obtain the flower wine monk's liquor worm as his vital gu, but lacking any leads on the monk's skeleton. He decided to pick a moonlight gu for safety. Walking along the left wall, he found a row of silver plates on one of the top layers, each holding a crystalline, crescent-shaped gu resembling blue quartz, the moonlight gu, the specialty of the Guyu clan and a symbol of their identity. Since all the moonlight gu were rank 1 and similar, Fong Yuan casually selected one. The gu was light, about the size of a jade pendant, transparent enough to see the lines on his palm through it. After inspecting it, he pocketed the moonlight gu and left the room. The queue outside remained long, and the next eager youth hurried in as Fong Yuan exited. Unlike others who would immediately refine their gu, Fong Yuan's mind lingered on the liquor worm, more precious than the moonlight gu despite the latter's local significance. After leaving the gu room, Fong Yuan headed straight to the tavern. At the tavern, he ordered 2 jars of aged wine, paying with his remaining primeval stones. The short, fat, oily-faced shopkeeper greeted him by name and verified the stone's weight with practiced skill, smiling broadly. Primeval stones served as currency and a condensed essence for cultivation, analogous to gold on Earth but with even greater purchasing power. Fong Yuan had been buying 2 jars daily for 7 days, nearly exhausting his initial savings. Carrying the 2 jars, Fang Yuan reflected that once a person became a Gu master, they could extract primeval essence directly from primeval stones to replenish their primeval sea, making these stones both currency and cultivation aid. However, his continued spending meant the stones would soon run out, and the liquor worm still refused to appear. He wondered whether he must settle for refining the moonlight goo as his vital goo despite his dissatisfaction. Remembering the elder's words about the 20 primeval stone reward for the first to refine their vital goo, Fang Yuan guessed many competitors were already at home striving to finish first. Yet, with his C-grade primeval talent, he had little chance without special means. At that moment, Guyu Fangzhang called out from behind, noting that Fang Yuan had indeed gone to the tavern to buy alcohol and urging him to follow. As their aunt and uncle wished to see him, Fang Yuan stopped and turned around, meeting his younger brother's gaze directly. The wind lifted Fang Yuan's messy short hair and caused the hem of Fang Zheng's robes to sway. Only a month had passed, yet the 2 brothers had changed drastically. A week after the awakening ceremony, Fang Yuan's status as a genius had collapsed, while Fang Zhang began to shine, rising like a new star. For Fang Zhang, this transformation was earth-shaking. He finally experienced the attention and envy his older brother once received, feeling as if he had been pulled from darkness into a world of light. Each morning felt like a sweet dream, though he struggled to adapt to the sudden spotlight. People began to watch Fang Zhang closely, praising him openly. He blushed and averted his eyes, sometimes forgetting how to walk properly under their gaze. During the first 10 days, Fang Zhang grew thinner but more energetic, and a sense of self-confidence emerged within him. He realized this was what his older brother had once felt, both beautiful and painful. Curious about how Fang Yuan had handled such attention, Fang Zhang tried to imitate his brother's indifferent expression but found himself ill-suited for it. In class, a girl's shout would redden his face. On the street, the flirting of older women often made him flee. Meanwhile, Fang Zhang heard rumors about Fang Yuan's decline, depression, drunkenness, neglecting home and class. Shocked by this fall from grace, he began to understand that his brother was only human, vulnerable to setbacks. Secretly, Fang Zhang felt an unspoken happiness. His brother's downfall was proof of his own rise. When Fang Zhang saw Fang Yuan carrying wine jars, disheveled and untidy, he felt relieved and urged him to stop drinking, warning that those who cared were worried and that Fang Yuan needed to wake up. Fang Yuan remained expressionless, and the 2 brothers locked eyes. Fang Zheng's gaze shone sharply, while Fang Yuan's deep black eyes felt like ancient pools, imposing a strange pressure that made Fang Zhang look away. Angered at himself for avoiding his brother's gaze, Fang Zhang summoned courage and looked back, but Fang Yuan had already turned away, carrying the wine jars and telling him to stop staring and follow. Fang Zheng's breath faltered, the strength within him unable to surface, plunging him into a quiet despair. He quickened his pace to catch up, head raised to the sun, eyes fixed on his feet stepping into Fang Yuan's shadow. The sunset cast a red glow over the east, the sky bright but tinged with gray, and distant mountains darkened under gathering shadows. Inside the dim living room, aunt and uncle sat in shadowed chairs, their expressions unreadable. Seeing Fang Yuan with the wine jars, Uncle Gu Yudong too furrowed his brows and spoke, noting that the brothers had turned 15 and acknowledging their talents as Gu masters, especially Fang Zheng's. Proud, he presented each with 6 primeval stones, explaining their necessity for refining Gu and replenishing primeval essence. Servants handed small bags to Fang Yuan and Fang Zhang. Fang Yuan accepted his silently, while Fang Zhang eagerly opened his and saw 6 oval, grayish-white primeval stones. His face brightened with gratitude as he stood and thanked his aunt and uncle, expressing how deeply he valued their support and promising never to forget it. Uncle smiled and nodded. Aunt hurriedly urged them to sit, explaining that although not their biological children, they had always raised them as their own. They expressed pride in the boys' futures and lamented their own childlessness, wishing the brothers could truly be their children. Fang Zhang did not fully grasp the meaning, but Fong Yuan frowned slightly. Uncle then proposed adopting them to form a genuine family. Fong Zhang hesitated briefly before joyfully agreeing, confessing he had longed for a family since losing his parents and that becoming part of theirs felt like a dream come true. Aunt's expression softened as she laughed and told him he should stop calling them aunt and uncle. Realizing this, Fong Zhang corrected himself and addressed them as father and mother. Aunt and uncle laughed heartily, with Aunt wiping tears as she praised Fong Zhang for being a good son, saying he was not a waste to them after being raised since he was 5 years old for 10 years. Uncle then gently addressed the silent Fong Yuan, asking for his response. Fong Yuan shook his head without speaking. Fong Zhang was about to advise his brother, but Uncle stopped him with an unchanged tone, stating that they would not force Fong Yuan since he was already 15 and needed to become independent, which would also allow him to carry on the Fong bloodline. Uncle revealed he had prepared 200 primeval stones as financial support for Fong Yuan. Fong Zheng's eyes widened at the mention of 200 primeval stones, a sum he had never seen before, and he showed a jealous expression. Fong Yuan still shook his head. Fong Zhang looked puzzled, while Uncle's expression shifted slightly, and Aunt's face clouded. Fong Yuan told them that if there was nothing else, he would take his leave, then grabbed his wine jars and left the hall immediately. Fong Zhang rose and asked father and mother if he could advise his brother, but Uncle waved him off with a sigh, saying the matter could not be forced and expressing contentment that Fong Zhang had a willing heart. Uncle then instructed the servants to take good care of Fong Zhang. Fong Zhang retreated, and the living room fell into silence as the sun set below the mountain, darkening the room. After a while, Uncle's cold voice broke the silence, remarking that Fong Yuan had seen through their plot. Uncle explained that according to Guyu clan regulations, the eldest son at 16 qualified to inherit the family property. Fong Yuan's parents had left a fortune currently managed by aunt and uncle. If Fong Yuan agreed to be adopted, he would lose the right to inherit. If he chose independence at 15, he would not conform to clan rules. Uncle sighed with relief that they had won over Fong Zhang, noting Fong Yuan had only C-grade talent. Aunt anxiously asked what they would do if Fong Yuan insisted on independence at 16. Uncle coldly replied that if Fong Yuan committed a serious mistake before leaving, they could expel him and claim he forfeited his inheritance. Aunt questioned how Fong Yuan could make a mistake given his cleverness, catching him in the act and fabricating a story about drunken misbehavior to justify expulsion. Aunt praised the plan enthusiastically. Night deepened as dark clouds covered most stars, and village households lit their lamps. Fong Zhang was escorted into a spacious room twice the size of his previous one, featuring a large bed, a rosewood desk with ink and paper by the window, exquisite wall ornaments, and a soft handmade carpet. Matron Shen, aunt and uncle's trusted housekeeper, who managed all the slaves and whose daughter was Shen Cui, greeted Fong Zhang warmly and explained that the old master had specially prepared the room for him. She encouraged him to eat and rest well, assuring him that any requests could be made by ringing the bell beside his bed, as the household was instructed to let him focus entirely on cultivation. Fong Zhang nodded repeatedly, expressing gratitude and silently resolving to become number one and not disappoint aunt and uncle. Outside, the dark clouds thickened, obscuring most stars as Fong Yuan walked the village streets carrying 2 wine jars. He sneered inwardly, aware that aunt and uncle were likely plotting to expel him again as they had in his previous life by provoking and framing him through servants. He understood their motives were driven by greed, not kinship, as their initial reason for taking in him and Fong Zhang was to seize the inheritance. Despite their surprise at the brothers, their intentions had not changed. Fong Yuan reflected that everything was difficult before becoming easy for him, especially since he lacked outstanding talent and a teacher's care, making his cultivation akin to starting from scratch. However, his parents' legacy was a significant advantage. In his previous life, aunt and uncle had stolen the inheritance, causing him to waste 2 years to reach rank 1 peak. He resolved not to repeat that mistake. Choosing not to stay home, Fong Yuan walked toward the village outskirts with the wine jars. The night grew darker as the mountain breeze strengthened and rain approached. Few people were on the streets, and dim lights glowed from houses. The wind scattered small debris and leaves. Fang Yuan's thin clothing offered little protection from the cold wind, causing a chill. He opened a wine jar and took a small sip. Though the wine was turbid, it warmed him from within. This was the first time he had drunk wine in days. As Fang Yuan walked farther from the village, the houses beside the road became fewer and the lights dimmer, until darkness enveloped the path ahead. The wind howled through the mountain forest, causing branches to sway and whistle like a roaring herd of beasts. He did not slow his pace, passing through the village's massive entrance and stepping into the darkness, leaving behind the bright lights of tens of thousands of houses that formed a warm corner of life. Inside one of those houses, Fang Yuan's younger brother, Fang Zhang, sat at his desk reviewing notes from class. The room was brightly lit, its solid walls shielding him from the cold wind. A cup of warm ginseng tea steamed beside his hand. Outside the door, Shun Chui's soft voice announced that the hot bathing water was ready. Fang Zhang responded quickly, asking her to bring it in. Shun Chui entered with a bowed waist and a pleased expression, greeting Fang Zhang respectfully while casting amorous glances toward him. Unlike Fang Yuan, who was only a C-grade talent, Fang Zhang was an A-grade talent, making him a prized catch. Heavy raindrops began to fall, battering the roof of the verdant bamboo house with brittle sounds. The pond outside rippled as fish swam lively and aquatic plants swayed beneath the surface. A thick rain curtain obscured the horizon under the overcast sky. In a dimly lit room with an open window, Fang Yuan watched the heavy rainfall silently. He noted that it had been 3 days and 3 nights since he had left the village with 2 jars of wine to search the surroundings. The rain had started pouring late that night, drenching him and forcing him to stop his search. The rainwater would wash away the wine's fragrance, and continuing to search in such conditions risked arousing suspicion. Though he had pretended to be a depressed drunk to mask his true intentions, he knew not to underestimate the intelligence of others. The rain had continued without pause, sometimes heavier, sometimes lighter, but never ceasing. Fang Yuan concluded that finding the liquor worm would be impossible for the time being and decided to begin refining the moonlight goo. If he found the liquor worm during the process, that would be ideal. If not, refining the goo would suffice for now. He acknowledged that obstacles were inevitable in any journey. Calm and composed from centuries of experience, Fang Yuan closed the door and window, then sat cross-legged on his bed. After several breaths, he settled his mind. A vision of his primeval aperture appeared in his mind, a mysterious space inside his body, both infinitely large and small, surrounded by a thin layer of white light. Within the aperture lay a sea of primeval essence, green copper in color, calm and clear like a mirror, filling about 44% of the aperture's volume. This primeval sea represented Fang Yuan's life force, the condensation of his essence, vitality, and soul. Each drop of primeval essence was precious, the root of a goo master's power and the source from which goo were refined and used. Withdrawing his mind from the primeval sea, Fang Yuan opened his eyes and retrieved the moonlight goo, which sat quietly in the center of his palm, resembling a small, crystalline curved blue moon. He directed primeval essence from the sea, sending a jet of green copper energy into the moonlight goo. The goo suddenly radiated a fierce blue light and trembled slightly in his palm, resisting the influx. As living creatures embodying the laws of nature, goo possessed their own will, and the moonlight goo sensed the threat to its existence. The refining process proved difficult. As primeval essence flowed into the curved crescent, the 2 pointed ends turned green, the color slowly spreading toward the center. After less than 3 minutes, Fang Yuan's face paled as a large volume of primeval essence poured into the moonlight goo, causing a rapid weakness in his heart. 1%, 2%, 3%, 8, 9, 10. 10 minutes later, Fang Yuan's primeval sea had depleted 10% of its essence. Yet the green copper area on the moonlight goo had only expanded slightly toward the center. The moonlight goo's resistance was immense, But Fong Yuan had anticipated this and persisted, pouring in more essence. 1%, 2%, 3%. After another 20 minutes, the primeval sea held only 14% of its primeval essence. The green copper sections on the moonlight goo had merged slightly, covering about 1/12 of its surface, while the rest remained light blue. Fong Yuan sighed and halted the refining process, breaking the flow of primeval essence. After half an hour, he had consumed over half of his primeval essence, yet the moonlight goo was only 1/12 refined. Despite stopping, the moonlight goo continued to emit a faint blue halo and resisted by expelling the primeval essence Fong Yuan had poured in. The green copper essence on its surface slowly shrank. At this rate, in about 6 hours, the moonlight goo would completely expel all of Fong Yuan's primeval essence, forcing him to start the refining process anew whenever he tried again. Fong Yuan reflected that refining a goo was like a battle between two armies, a war of attrition and positional warfare. Although he had refined 1/12 of the moonlight goo, he had wasted 3/4 of his primeval essence. A goo master had to replenish his primeval sea while continuously refining, consolidating his progress. The process tested both skill in manipulating primeval essence and patience for enduring a prolonged struggle. He took a piece of primeval stone from his money bag and considered the methods to replenish consumed primeval essence. The first was natural recovery. For a C-grade talent like himself, it took about an hour to restore 4% of primeval essence, amounting to 24% in 6 hours. The second was absorbing natural essence directly from a primeval stone, a treasure condensed from nature's primeval essence. As Fong Yuan absorbed it, the water level of his primeval sea visibly rose. After half an hour, the primeval sea had replenished to its original 44% volume, and the rising stopped abruptly. Despite space remaining in the aperture, Fong Yuan could store no more essence. This was the limit of his C-grade talent. The grade of cultivation talent determined the aperture's capacity and the speed of natural recovery. To refine the moonlight goo and solidify results, Fong Yuan had to rely on primeval stones because his natural recovery rate could not match the goo's expulsion of essence. In contrast, Fong Zhang, with a grade talent, could replenish 8% per hour, recovering 48% in 6 hours while the moonlight goo expelled only 3%. Fong Zhang could refine with occasional rests and complete the moonlight goo in days without external aid. Fong Yuan knew from the start that he had no chance at first place in this test. Talent grade was the primary factor. The second was access to primeval stones. Those with abundant stones could surpass higher talent grades. Fong Yuan possessed 6 primeval stones but lacked the backing of powerful families like Guyu Mobe or Guyu Qichan. His C-grade talent could not compare to Fong Zhang's A-grade. He resolved to divert his energy toward finding the liquor worm, hoping to make it his vital goo, which would surpass the moonlight goo.